Hello, dear viewers. It's another edition of our special program, The International Sphere. And I'm your host, Agnes Tuniga. Just remember, today we are here at the Indian High Commission, where we are privileged to be joined by His Excellency, the Indian High Commissioner to Tanzania, His Excellency Sanjeev Kohli. My guest, please welcome here on the show, and I appreciate your time talking to us on this special occasion.
Well, thank you so much. Let me first extend a very warm welcome to you, and also to say how delighted I am to have this opportunity to reach out to your distinguished audience.
Thank you very much. Mr. High Commissioner, we are here today, and our main focus is concerning your take on the general elections that are to take place on the 28th of October here in Tanzania. Just to begin our discussion, Your Excellency, talking about democracy itself, and you have been here for almost a year, and you've been able to observe what is going on through the country, and of course the campaigns have already started. Now, talking about democracy itself, what is the state of democracy? What can you explain on democracy with your own take?
Well, let me first say that when I speak about democracy, when I speak about elections, I speak as a representative of world's largest democracy. We have over 1 billion people who participate in elections every 5 years. India is seen as one of the shining examples of democracy. So when I talk about these things, I talk with a certain sense of conviction and a huge experience that we Indians have gathered over the last 50 odd years. You said I've been here for about a year. We've seen the election campaign taking place. For me, this is the first time in Tanzania, but we're seeing large rallies, we are seeing a lot of energy, we are seeing a lot of color, heat and dust of elections. In India, we always see elections as a festival of democracy. And as people in Tanzania get ready to vote, my best wishes go out to them. Tanzania has always been seen as one of the outstanding examples of political stability, stable and secure country, and people who've shown a lot of sense of tolerance, a sense of togetherness. So I'm sure that we're going to have great elections, and a lot of inspiring stories about democracy are coming from Africa. And I'm sure that Tanzania would also set a great example.
Let's talk now concerning the Legal and Human Rights Center. It has been operating here in Tanzania for several years, and of course now it has gone through this financial paralysis, I should put it this way, and of course it has been to stop its operations here within the country. And what is your take, Mr. High Commissioner, concerning that?
I think let me not comment on some specific instances. But again, coming back to your question about democracy in Tanzania, there has been a conventional wisdom that democracy works best when the country has a certain level of economic prosperity. The country has a strong middle class, but that would mean a high level of GDP. The country should have strong institutions, strong civil society, and a certain threshold level of literacy. But as I said, Africa has proved some of these, conventional wisdom that people used to talk about quite wrong. Last 30, 40 years, as I said, some very interesting, some very inspiring stories about democracy have come from this region. And people have shown that democracy is all not about economic prosperity, it's also about sense of tolerance, it's also about sense of togetherness, it's also about how people relate to each other. And the instance you spoke about, I think the fact that people are talking about it, and this is an issue of debate, that itself shows that there's no issue which is being brushed under the carpet. And that's a very healthy sign for democracy.
Okay, as Tanzanians now are waiting for the general elections come 28th October, Mr. High Commissioner, talking about the campaigns, the ongoing campaigns that have been running out throughout the country, what is your observation? How did you see the campaigns here in Tanzania being run?
You know, as I said, I've seen videos of the campaigns, I've seen pictures of the campaign, and I've been amazed by the level of participation and the kind of turnout which all the candidates are having in their rallies. I mean, that shows the level of interest. You know, sometimes we tend to underestimate the intelligence of the voter. I think the voter always is the most intelligent player in the entire scene. You know. And the kind of wisdom, the kind of knowledge a voter has should never be underestimated. So we see a lot of energy, we see a lot of interest, we see a lot of enthusiasm, and I'm sure we're going to have a great turnout and a very successful and peaceful elections.
Do you think that the government of Tanzania exercises free and fair treatment to all parties going through ahead this coming general elections?
You know, again, speaking in general terms, there's no one-size-fits-all kind of a strategy for democracy, because each country is in a different state of economic transformation, each country is in a different state of social transformation. The internal dynamics of each country are different. Having said that, as I said, Tanzania has always been seen by people around the world as a great example of people who've been kind of sense of unity in the people, the sense of purpose, the sense of commitment to see that the country moves together, people move together on the road to development. So those are very healthy signs for democracy to mature. And again, it takes time for democracy to take roots. The institutions have to develop. But as long as people are conscious about it, as long as people are aware of their responsibilities, which I find very, very prevalent in this country. So I think that those are very good signs for Tanzania to continue with its very well-earned reputation of being an example for other countries in the region. And also, I think sometimes, people outside a country, they tend to be very prescriptive. I've seen some comments coming from outside media or from people outside this country, some of them talking about how elections should be run here or how the campaign should be run here. I think that's something, which probably, we should appreciate that, we should appreciate the wisdom that people of that country have. So personally, we would be against any prescriptive kind of, statements being coming about elections in a particular country. I mean, no country would like that kind of prescription taking place. And it's sometimes also very ironical that some of these comments come from, media in countries where the people themselves are talking about how polarized those societies are, how divided societies are. And some of them are coming from countries which themselves have not seen democracy. So I'm very confident that the leadership in this country, cutting across the political spectrum, whichever party you may talk about, the people in this country, I think they're very aware of their responsibilities. The institutions are strong. So, we have no doubt that the elections, there would be a successful election. And again, a lot of observers are on the ground. I saw a report about the EAC observer group. I've been talking to my fellow ambassadors, European ambassadors, the American ambassador. I think each one of them is having some kind of role, in kind of observing the elections. And the fact that they have been given this permission itself talks about the desire of the authorities here, those who are conducting the elections, to show to the world that the elections are being run in a transparent manner, the elections are being run in an effective manner, and with kind of each stakeholder in the election being given an equal opportunity.
Your High Commissioner, is that the opposition parties have been raising complaints concerning the violation of human rights or assaultment of human rights. Do you think that it's enough to put into task for those who do this, and maybe the ones who are assaulting human rights with impunity?
One is that there could be, instances, stray instances of violations. Each society, each country, each government would have certain elements who would tend to act beyond the law. And as I said before, these issues don't need to be brushed under the carpet. So the institutions, the law and order authorities must act against those who tend to, go beyond the responsibility assigned to them. But to say that there's an institutional kind of, violation of norms happening, human rights happening, or a systemic way of doing this, I think I've been for about a year. I have not seen that. And we interact with so many people. No one has ever mentioned, those kind of things to me. There could be, as I said, individual cases which could happen anywhere. There are always some people who probably, tend to be high-handed, who tend to take law in their own hands. And then it depends how the system reacts with them. The system itself should have checks and balances to take care of any aberrations which take place.
Okay, now talking about the Electoral Commission here within the country, how fair do you think is the Electoral Commission? We have seen an example of suspending the opposition party, main Chadema party, that the presidential candidate being suspended from campaigning heading to the general elections. Now, do you think that is fair?
Again, these are procedural and legal matters, and I think I'm not equipped to go into particular instances. But the opposition and the ruling party have led a sustained campaign. And in a sense, if there was a design to do something, we could have seen many more instances of doing that, or we could have seen longer suspension of campaigns. So, and I've seen statements coming from the Election Commission where I think they've been very open with the information, they've been very transparent. But again, end of the day, it's for the people of the country to take a call. We all can pass our judgments, people coming from other countries, whether you're a diplomat or you are a media person. But end of the day, as I said, the voter in each country is very intelligent. And at the end of the day, they take a call, and elections are all about respecting the will of the people. And anyone who kind of, tends to pass judgments, who tends to be prescriptive, I think in a sense also insults the wisdom of the electorate. So we must put our faith in the wisdom of the electorate. End of the day, the people, democracy is all about government for the people, government of the people. So let the people decide. And I'm sure that people of Tanzania, given their level of knowledge, their level of wisdom, their aspirations, would take a decision which they feel is the best. And then I'm sure the decision would be respected by everyone.
Your Excellency, once again, that talking about your embassy now here, which is your government, what is the position of your embassy in ensuring Tanzania adheres to the principle of human rights and, of course, democracy itself?
Again, as I said, our relationship rests on, our relationship between India and Tanzania rests on shared values. And we have had very similar developmental experience. We've gone through similar challenges. And there's such a huge connect between the people of the two countries. And we deeply admire and respect the path that Tanzania has selected for itself. As friends, we also, respect each other's sensitivities. We respect each other's priorities that they've laid down for their people. We are one of Tanzania's strongest partner in development cooperation. And whatever, issues that we kind of, engage with each other as friends, I think that that's discussed among ourselves as friends.
Yeah.
I don't think we believe in any kind of prescriptive diplomacy, or we believe in making public pronouncements. So I think that's what I would like to say at this point.
Yeah. In your own opinion, Your Excellencies, that still talking about democracy, do you think that democracy is universal? That is a copycat democracy from, let's say, Tanzania, democracy the same with India or other parts of the world?
I said that before.
Yeah.
That, number one, there can't be one size fit all kind of a solution.
Yeah.
Each country has its own kind of experience. Each country is at a certain stage of development, which then kind of provides a way for people to participate in any kind of political experiment. And there are many countries which kind of pass judgments and without looking at what's happening inside their own country. I think that's not the right way to do it. The right way is to engage with each other and to then assist each other in kind of following the path they have selected for themselves. So in that sense, I think, as I said before, I mean, democracy is not only about having a certain level of GDP or a certain level of literacy level. A lot depends on the character of the people.
Yeah.
And end of the day, democracy may not be the best form of government, but it certainly prevents the worst kind of government to come up. So we are, as Indians, we are very strong believers in the path of democracy. When India got its independence in 1947, many countries, especially from the West, said that, with a country like India, with its, diversities, with its, kind of problems we had in the areas of health, education, the kind of poverty we faced, kind of challenge we faced. Everyone said that this, experiment democracy is not going to last beyond a few years. But over the years, we have proved those, critics wrong. We are now seen as a shining example of democracy. And I'm sure, that, those who kind of tend to be overcritical, they probably don't appreciate the resolve of the people of that particular country. I mean, Tanzania has now seen multi-party democracy for many, many years. And again, we have never seen, any kind of attempts to weaken, by any of the institutions to weaken that resolve to continue on that path. And as friends, we wish the Tanzanian leadership, wish the Tanzanian people all the best.
What do you think, Your Excellency, concerning the leaders here within the country, how the ways maybe they run the government? What do you expect from that?
There's a certain, governments are always, they represent a certain degree of continuity in the sense of, the objectives that you've laid down for your people, the aspirations of the people decide a certain path which the governments would select. Now in Tanzania, we've seen a continuity of the same, one political group continuing to win elections. So that makes things simpler. There are other countries in where, governments change, and then another party brings a certain degree of perspective. But I think the best thing about democracy is that even when another party comes to power, democracy has its own auto-correcting system. You can't ignore the will of the people, and you have to stand tested before the same people after 5 years. And people have the power to vote out the government which they, believe that was not up to their expectations. And the fact here that there's one political party which has continued to win elections also shows that they've stood up to the expectations of the people. And people have continued to, put faith in the same government. In India also, we had one party which ruled for over 40 years, unchallenged. And then suddenly there was a change of government
A wave,
after 40 years on. So it's not that if one party will continue 40 years, the elections are not being free and fair. It's just that the party continue to get the mandate of the people and again and again. But then suddenly one day people decide that no, we've got a better alternative. So they voted out a party which has been, ruling for more than 40 years, brought in another government. That government was there for about 5 years, again was voted out. The other party came in, then they were voted out. So we have now, another party which is in power. I think this is all about, that's all democracy, is all about options before the people. And it gives you an opportunity to hold the government accountable, hold the leaders accountable. Yeah. And I think those who run the government also know that after 5 years, they have to stand in the court of the people, and the people will pass the verdict.
Now, talking about the draconian laws that the whistleblowers have been knowing or thinking that they've been tough, of course, on it, saying that it's silencing the freedom of the press. Now, talking about freedom of the press here within the country, Your Excellency, you have been here. So how do you evaluate concerning that? Do you see the media is free and fair in covering especially the campaign throughout the country?
I think I've seen a lot of coverage of the campaign. And, again, these days, communication is become so kind of technology driven that even if you deny a chance to a particular party to, kind of get through the print media, they have the social media, you have all kinds of technology driven thing. Again, on a that we have got elections taking place in the US also on the 3rd of November. And, you would have seen reports that the incumbent president is saying that his message is not going out. The media is blocking his message. So, I mean, this could happen in, world's most advanced democracy where a ruling president feels that the media has been unfair to him. So these are things I think, technology provides the solution. These days it's very difficult to shut out information. Information would find a way to go through, to the people. So I think those who kind of feel that they could act as gatekeepers or who could, kind of block information, I mean, that really is not possible. So, and then, again, the fact that you raised this and the kind of questions you've raised today itself shows that, and TBC is a state-owned organization. Yes. So I think, I'm very impressed with the kind of questions that have been asked. These have been very pointed questions. So that itself shows that, the media is kind of, it's an active media which is raising issues. And as again said, democracy it's not that, democracy is a one-shot affair. Democracy takes roots, democracy grows, democracy matures. And I think every single day that we experiment with democracy, we are making it stronger and stronger. So, and at no point of time you can pass judgment on democracy because it's not a one-time affair.
Now, this is very specific, Your Excellency, concerning the relationship between your government and the current government and your expectations with the government that is going to come into power after the general elections.
The best part of strong friendships is that they have support across the political spectrum. Strong friendships, strong partnerships do not get affected by change of government. As I said, Tanzania has there's one party which has been in power, but India has seen many, changes of power. But there's been no instance where a relationship with Tanzania has been affected. So relationships, I think, are governed by a range of factors. The history of the relationship, your kind of the strengths of the planks on which the relationship stands. And there's so much common and there's so much, that we share. So I'm not worried about, any impact on the relationship, whichever government comes in power. This relationship has such a huge merit. It stands on its own merit. And that's something which doesn't bother us at all.
Your Excellency, we are coming to the end of our program. Anything to share with us?
Well, I'll only, give my best wishes to the people of Tanzania, and also, we appreciate the way the campaign has been done over the last few months. And as I said, it's a festival of democracy, and let people go out, participate in the festival. The best way to participate in the festival of democracy is to go out and vote. And this is a chance a voter gets every 5 years to elect a government of his or her choice, and let the best candidates win. And I'm sure whichever way the results go, the country has a very strong potential to continue to grow. And similarly, our relationship has a huge strength to further go to a higher level. So as friends, we wish this country all the very best.
Your Excellency, I thank you very much for your time, and I'm glad the Tanzanians have been able to hear the good content that you have delivered to us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Asante sana. Asante. Well, dear viewers, we thank you very much for being attentive to us on this special edition concerning the focus of the general elections trend here in Tanzania. And just remember, my guest here has been His Excellency Sanjeev Kohli, the Indian High Commissioner to Tanzania. From me, your host, Agnes Tuniga, thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, bye for now.